Hello everyone, this is Mark, and it is July 15th, 2016, and it's in the afternoon here on Molokai. You might notice there's a blue screen behind me. I'm at the Akaku Molokai Media Center where my wife works right now, and so I'm just in this room recording while she's finishing something up in there. A couple things I want to talk about today, and I'll make this really quick because I know that usually I ramble on a lot. So the first thing is I got this really cool message from this guy Kambiz, I think Kambiz maybe, in Afghanistan. I get a lot of people in Afghanistan, and he mentioned he was thanking me for the head to toe stuff, and he sent me a picture of his head to toe, and it's really cool. So I'm going to put that picture up. You're probably looking at it right now. It's pretty cool. Yeah, when I put this video out originally, I was like, oh, maybe it'll help some people. Actually, it was for my friend Tang in London, and he used it to get a lot of gains on his flexibility. I don't think he ever got head to toe, but to see that people are actually using it to get head to toe and even chin to toe in some people's case, that's pretty cool, and it makes me feel like it's validating the helpfulness of having put that video up. So that's really gratifying for me. The other thing, main thing I want to talk about today was James Clear's article that I just read. Now, James Clear is this guy. If you go to jamesclear.com, JEMESCLEAR.com, he writes on different things. He's a writer. He does powerlifting, photography. He writes a lot about habits and about things like that. So one of the things he's writing about in this article was related to, the article is called The Scientific Argument for Mastering One Thing at a Time. And it talks about the power of single focusing on things. And he mentions these various studies, and check it out if you can on the website. I'll put a link below the video on YouTube, or wherever this thing goes. But one thing they did, one of the studies talked about how, I'm looking at the article just so I remember what it was, well, the first thing is that obviously if you create a plan to do something and you have a goal, making that specific, like putting a place and a date and a time and a location with that goal, makes it more frequently attainable. Like people usually can master that goal or attain that goal if they give it some specificity. Oh my God, specificity. Habits are more likely to stick with you. So if you make a plan to work out every day, just a general plan, I'm going to work out more, isn't a plan. But if you say something like, I'm going to work out 20 minutes a day at 9 a.m. at the gym every day, or every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or you make it really specific, it has a higher chance of winning. And many studies have proven that that's the case. But what this other study did, which is really interesting, is that it showed that it's only effective in the long term when you focus on one goal at a time. When you try and acquire multiple habits simultaneously, it distracts yourself from acquiring any of them effectively. So this is one of my I'm a big proponent of sort of this single tasking and single goaling, trying to master just one thing at a time, which is kind of ironic because I have these 5 areas that I'm focusing on, which is kind of silly now that I'm thinking about it. But like I said in that video, I'm not focusing on all of them equally at once. I kind of focus on them in different ways at different times. And so I might not be acquiring habits in all of them. I might just be acquiring habits in one of them, but I'm still kind of working on maintaining the other ones, right? And he also talked about how there's this sort of, and most of us know this, there's a certain period of time it takes to acquire a new habit. Average around 60 days or so, but it really depends on the person and the degree of difficulty in the habit. Like if you're trying to create a habit of running a marathon every day and you've never ran before, that's going to be really difficult to maintain. Or some habit that's really complex that has a lot of moving parts, versus something like I'm going to wake up and make my bed every morning. That's a little easier to handle, right? And easier to implement because it's right when you wake up, your bed's right there, it's easy to do. So there's sort of this tipping point that happens with new habit creation, and it takes a time to develop that. Average about 60 days, 70 days, 2 months, 2 to 3 months, which is, I think, for most of us, we've kind of seen that that's about where it where it takes place. And so he talks about how there's these three things that you pick up from these studies, which is one, that you're much more likely to follow through with the habit if you make it specific. Two, that if you should focus entirely just on one habit at a time. Implementation doesn't work as well if you try to improve multiple habits at the same time. And three, that a given habit becomes more automatic with time, and with time and practice. On average about 2 months, 2 to 3 months. And so he says, and I'll quote this one, the counterintuitive insight from all of this research is that the best way to change your entire life is not by changing your entire life. Instead, it is best to focus on one specific habit, work on it until you master it and make it an automatic part of your daily life. Then repeat the process for the next habit. The way to master more things in the long run is simply focus on one thing right now, which I really agree with. I think that's great. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just focus on one habit development at a time. And right now, the main habit is related to my nutrition program, or the way I'm eating. And I'm using a protocol that I used. Protocol is the word I use instead of diet, because diet actually has two meanings. One is a temporary restriction of caloric intake, right? Like I'm dieting, I'm going on a diet, but that means you can go off a diet. And the other is just your the way you eat, like the standard American diet, like your diet of eating pizza every day. Technically that's a diet, because in the broader sense of the word diet, it's a diet. So I like to use protocol for something that I'm implementing, either for a period of time or as a sort of a new methodology for doing something. So this is the slow carb protocol, which a lot of people are familiar with. If you Google slow carb diet or slow carb Tim Ferriss, who's the one who made this popular, you can look at it. It's essentially eliminating all the sugar, which is bad for you anyway. And you're focusing on eating very specific things for most of the week, and on one day of the week you can kind of have more free reign with what you eat. My one day of the week is tomorrow, so tomorrow's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna have some good food. And there's reasons why it works really well for a lot of people. The emotional sort of catharsis of getting that one day a week, and it also allows you to sort of emotionally hold on to maintaining the stricter parts of the protocol for the other 6 days of the week. So whether you agree with it or not, it's kind of irrelevant, but you can check it out if you're interested. I'll talk more about it later, and probably tomorrow I'll do some take videos of the things I eat during my cheat day. I don't like the word cheat day either. I like to call it a free day, because it's really freeing you up to eat whatever it is that you emotionally have been craving for that week. And I like that. And what a lot of people have seen on this protocol, and I did it before. I did it in China a few years ago, and it worked really well. Both Ruki and I did it. And we lost like 20, 30 pounds on doing this. And then we didn't maintain it after that. But it does work, and I have experience with it. I know it works, but you have to be pretty diligent. And it kind of does this thing where it'll spike on the day or so after your free day, and then it will go down during the week to a point lower than it was than it was at the beginning, a week earlier before your free day, and then it'll spike up again and go down again, spike up, go down. So it kind of does this thing, but it's always gradually going down week to week. And since this is the last day of this week, I've actually lost a decent amount of weight this week. I think about 6 pounds so far, but it'll go up a pound or so after my free day, and then it'll go down again, maybe by 2 pounds or so. So I would say probably averaging about, initially when you first start it, you lose more because your body is able to lose weight faster in the beginning, but then as you go, it's a smaller clip, so maybe a pound a week, or maybe 2 pounds if you're really doing well. I'm supplementing that, so I don't want to just do the nutrition side. I'm supplementing that with exercise as well. I'm doing what's called a Strong Lifts 5x5 protocol, or training method. You can look it up, Google Strong Lifts 5x5, 5x5, and it's just a focus on compound exercises for weightlifting, squat, deadlift, bench press, shoulder press, and barbell row. So those 5 exercises. And you just train 3 days a week, and it's about 30 minutes each time. Today I trained at the gym, and That's typically what I do. One of these days I'll record myself at the gym, but I was really crowded today. Really, 10 minutes. Spend 10 minutes already. How do I talk for 10 minutes straight and say almost nothing? Okay, so anyway, tomorrow's a cheat day. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm gonna leave it there for now. Anyway, if anyone has any questions, I mean, there's 5 of you basically who watch this thing. So if any of the 5 of you have any questions, just post them on YouTube, and I'm happy to answer them. And I think that's it. Yeah, so everyone have a great Friday, or rest of your Friday, or Saturday, wherever you are. Have a great weekend, and keep on keeping on.